I mean, I want to know what the Pakistanis are smoking and I want some of it. And this is exactly what is going to happen in Russia. I'm predicting this today. Prime Minister Modi will go to Russia after elections. He will go to Russia. He's going to shake hands with the Russians. And Asim Munir went there to sell Pakistan down the drain. Mark my words, in 2024, you're going to have US drone bases in Pakistan. That is why Asim Munir has gone to the United States of America. Jai Hind, friends. I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Ladies and gentlemen, you're aware that Dr. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister of India, has gone to Russia. There he met with President Putin. He met the Deputy Prime Minister and he met Sergei Lavrov, his counterpart in Russia, Russia's Foreign Minister. A lot was discussed, which we covered yesterday. Today is slightly different. We'll take you back to Russia, but there is a lot of sidestepping here. There is a lot of India trying to maintain a centrist line here. It's also about India passing a message to the West. I was listening to a couple of Pakistani programs, and that's what I do when I go for my morning walk. And one thing that I heard from the Pakistanis, which was very interesting, the Pakistanis feel that the Indian foreign minister actually went to Russia in response to General Asim Munir going to America. And the Pakistanis actually feel that there is a similarity between both the countries. And the Pakistanis also feel that, India is trying to show America that if you come close to Pakistan, we will go close to Russia. This is delusional stuff. I mean, I want to know what the Pakistanis are smoking and I want some of it. I insist on having some of what the Pakistanis are smoking. Because if this makes you so high, then the Pakistanis should share it with the world. Come on. Now, what I want to tell you here is that Asim Munir went to America to do America's bidding. America wants drone bases. America wants operations in Afghanistan. And that is the only use that Pakistan has, ladies and gentlemen. Apart from Afghanistan, there is no other use for Pakistan. Geographically speaking, strategically speaking, right? China may want a corridor to bring oil to and for, because otherwise it has to take this huge circle from under Sri Lanka, go all around the Indian subcontinent and then go up. Maybe it wants a second route. Maybe it's afraid of the Malacca choke. Maybe they know what kind of pressures are there in the South China Sea. Maybe the Chinese are well aware that in case of a war or even a limited conflict, that trade will go down the toilet. The Chinese are aware. So they're making the China-Pakistan economic corridor, not for the Pakistanis, but for the Chinese. But India is different. And this is what the Pakistanis don't realize. India is different because what India did was, India went to the Russians, not because of anything else, but because of the fact that it was time for India to assure the Russians and tell the world very clearly that, hey, we might be going to the United States of America. We might be doing business with America. Prime Minister Modi may have gone on a state visit. He might have addressed the Congress. All that aside, that does not mean that India is in any camp whatsoever. India is a country that walks its own path. India is talking about a multipolar world. India refuses to recognize that the United States of America is the sole superpower. India will tread its own path, and this is exactly what happened. And let me tell you more. There are very few countries who have reached out to Russia. Russia is under sanctions. And yet, you know the deal, India signed up for more nuclear reactors with Russia. You're already aware, I told you that yesterday. Apart from that, Russia and India today have a deal to manufacture Russian weapons in India. And this is exactly what Sergei Lavrov said. He said, we know that India is expanding its arsenal. We know that India is looking for technology. We are old and trusted partners. And what we want to do is assure India that we are ready to give you our foremost and best and the most unique Russian technology, and we'll make it in India with you. So this is all under the aegis of Make in India. This is what the Russians have said. And I think the Russians have excellent equipment. Some of them is old, of course, but some of the equipment is cutting edge, like for example, S-400. So India should immediately get in touch with Russia and say, hey, we're taking you up on your offer and let's make the S-400 in India. Let's make your entire line of surface to air, your latest equipment and your weaponry in India. So much more that the Russians have to offer, and India should take advantage. And Russia is ready to give the Indians whatever they want, including transfer of technology, ladies and gentlemen. President Putin has invited Prime Minister Modi to Russia next year. And he said, we'll be happy to see our friend Prime Minister Modi in Russia. PM Modi will obviously accept this invitation. He will go to Russia. It's going to be a visit with massive pomp and show. It's going to be like a state visit. India is a trusted friend and ally of Russia, and Russia is a trusted friend and ally of India. Notwithstanding, Prime Minister Modi, in recent memory, and I don't remember many such leaders who have been given this unique honor, that they visit America one year and Russia the next year and are given equal treatment. And this is exactly what is going to happen in Russia. I'm predicting this today. Prime Minister Modi will go to Russia after elections. He will go to Russia. He's going to shake hands with the Russians. He's going to get the topmost protocol that the Russian state has to offer. Because India was one of the first states that said, yes, we will buy oil from Russia. We don't care what Europe says. We don't care what America says. This is in the interest of the Indian people. Also, the fact, ladies and gentlemen, is that Russia has stood with us when nobody else did. Let's not forget. We may have had our issues with Russia. We may have had certain disagreements in the past, notwithstanding. The fact of the matter is, when the Americans were all ready to send their fleet in 1971, and I go on repeating this like a broken record, because it's true, and one needs to repeat history, often in our own minds, to understand that America is nobody's friend long term. Short term, yes. Short term, there is no friend like America. Long term, you need to understand what America wants from you, and America will ditch you at the first sign of trouble. They just ditched Ukraine. At the first sign of trouble, thousands of Ukrainians have died, and now America says that we can't give you money. And it was basis that money and those weapons that Zelensky thought he could defeat Russia. Now, coming back to Russia, Prime Minister Modi will go to Russia. Prime Minister Modi will be celebrated there. He'll be welcomed there. He'll get top-line protocol in Russia. And we're going to sign deals. We're going to sign deals with Russia, and this will also be a message to the West. India can balance. And about the Pakistanis, I was very surprised the way they were discussing on television that, Dr. S. Jaishankar has gone to Russia because the Indians were rattled when Asim Munir went to America, and Indians thought that, hey, Pakistan is taking over from us, and the significance that we have spent so much of money to build will suddenly get lost because the Pakistani army chief is in the United States of America. These Pakistanis are uneducated. Their army chief means nothing, absolutely. Their army chief has value on... See, the Pakistani army is only brave when it's dealing with its own politicians and the common people. They have no value outside of Pakistan. Nobody respects them, nobody likes them. And Asim Munir went there to sell Pakistan down the drain. Mark my words, in 2024, you're going to have US drone bases in Pakistan. That is why Asim Munir has gone to the United States of America. To compare Asim Munir with Dr. Jaishankar is blasphemy. Absolute blasphemy, nonsense. Only the Pakistanis can believe, with their levels of intelligence and education, it is only the Pakistanis who will believe that this is a parallel that can be drawn. Stupid at best. Dr. Jaishankar congratulated the Russians and said that, hey, today India and Russia have an annual trade of $50 billion. But he also pointed out that we need to give this more character. It needs to be fuller. Today, it's more about India buying energy from Russia. But there is so much that Russia can buy from India. Today, the trade balance is in favor of Russia, naturally, because we bought a lot of oil from Russia. $50 billion worth. Now, this needs to go up to $100 billion. Russia has a lot to give to the world. India has a lot to give to the world. And the Russians would love to have Indian manufactured goods. The Russians would love to work for Indian companies like Infosys, like Wipro, like TCS. Our IT and Russian hardware. This is the stuff of the future, ladies and gentlemen. And this is exactly what Dr. Jaishankar said. We need to collaborate more fully. Not just limited to India buying oil or weapons from Russia. No, there is so much more that India can give to Russia. India supplies stuff to the entire world. Indian manufacture is really picking up. It's really picking up. We should even send Indian iPhones to Russia. I mean, there should be absolutely no cap on what India can trade with Russia. Russia gives us weapons technology. But apart from weapons, we have amongst the finest technologies in the world. In many ways, our automobile sector is really picking up, our motorcycle sector is really picking up, our white goods sector is really booming. You look at our mobile phone sector, we have the largest mobile phone factory in the world right here in India, and it's top of the line stuff. So India can do so much in terms of trade, in terms of cultural exchanges, in terms of Russian students coming and studying in IITs and IIMs, Indian students going and studying in Russia. There is so much. There is so much. And I think we should just capitalize on the fact that we have had this very stable and a very trustworthy friendship for the past almost 76 years. Very stable, very trustworthy friendship between India and Russia. Russia has also supported India's bid to become a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. And India has been saying this time and again for a very long time that, this whole United Nations concept came after the Second World War. The Security Council was formed after the Second World War. And 78 years have passed, literally. 78, 79 years have passed since the end of the Second World War, 78 years. I mean, the realities have totally changed. At that time, India was an impoverished country. At that time. Today, India is the 5th largest economy in the world, going to be the 3rd largest economy in the world. India has the largest volunteer army in the world. Indian software, Indian vaccines, the way India is investing in various places all over the world, especially countries in Africa and Asia, bringing clean water to villages in Uganda, bringing rail tracks to Kenya. India is doing so much, and if there is a country in the world that deserves to be sitting on that table, it is India. But it is China that is blocking. All the other countries, Russia supports India, US supports India, France, England, all 4 of them support India except for China, which is the 5th permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. China does not support India. And China is putting blockages every time. They're putting in roadblocks every single time that India says that it needs to become a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. This too shall pass and we shall become permanent members, China notwithstanding, ladies and gentlemen. And we have the absolute support of Russia in this. Russia says, yes, we're with India, always and every time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll come to the question and answers. The first question is, hi Major Saab, this is Kamesh Chivukula. My question is, if it is proved that drones targeting ships in Indian territorial waters are of Iranian origin, how will the government of India react? We have invested such a lot in the rogue state and now it is harming our interest. Sticky wicket. Yes, it's a sticky wicket, but what India is talking about is counter-terror operations. So I don't think we are going to go to war with Iran. What we are talking about is Houthi rebels, other people who harm Indian shipping or ships bound for India or take off from India and go to other places, because it is impacting Indian trade. It's impacting the Indian economy. And I think Iran will understand. We'll explain to the Iranians that we need to hit the terrorists. Because see, if you must also tell the Iranians that, listen, if these are your boys, you must tell them that they cannot target Indian ships or ships bound for India. And if they are not your boys, why do you care if we hit them or we don't hit them? Then it's our baby. We have a question received on email. Major, I'm Ravindra Pratap Singh from Mangarh. I want to know the impact and its realistic consequences of the nearby attack on the Israel embassy in India. I don't know. Mr. Ravindra Pratap Singh. I'm not fully cognizant of these facts, because I'll tell you what has happened is that somebody tried it. The police have still not found out a motive. So when the police say that who did it and which organization did it, then I'll be able to better answer your query. Till now, what they found is one flag of Israel. They found an abusive letter addressed to the ambassador, and that's about it. There is nothing else. I mean, they've not found any residue gunpowder. There was nothing except police are saying maybe it's a chemical, explosive. And I haven't even heard a firm statement from the Delhi police saying that it's definitely a terror act. So we don't know very much about it. Will be wrong for me to comment at this stage. Okay, this handle is called Ra Ki Sajish. I like this. Ra Ki Sajish. Jai Hind, Bade Bhai. Jai Hind, Bhai. Recently, Defence Minister said to deploy warships in western coast of Bharat. Will this escalate war between terrorists and Indian Navy, or terrorists will back down? When it is the Indian Navy and any other enemy, we all know how it ends. You know, all these terrorists. You must read about what the Indian Navy did to the Karachi harbor in 1971. You know, the Indian Navy burned the Karachi harbor. They burned the entire port. For 7 days and 7 nights, that port burned. The Indian Navy ships just burnt Karachi harbor. So these terrorists are small fry, chicken fry in front of the Indian Navy. But it depends on how much damage the Indian Navy wants to cause. Because these things are Indian Navy is armed to the teeth here. You know, we have capability of firing a nuclear weapon. I'm not for one moment saying that India is going to do that. I'm just talking about capabilities. We have ships with nuclear weapons. So, I mean, we are there in terms of capability. We have BrahMos missiles. We have the latest intercontinental ballistic missiles. We have everything. If we want to target the Houthis, there is no way that the Houthis can escape. We will get them. We have aircraft carriers. We have helicopter gunships. We have the whole jing bang. So this is where we stand. I mean, if it comes to a fight between the Indian Navy and the terrorists will go to hell straight away. Ladies and gentlemen, how do you like this video? If you liked it, press the like button. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.